Hey guys, I'm underneath my Wrangler. Yeah. So it begins. Gotta get the torque converter out. I really don't want to do this, but I must. I really don't feel like paying somebody else to do this. But first thing, skip plate comes off, then the drive shafts. I'm thinking the exhaust might have to as well. Looking at it, I don't know. Well, yeah, I think so. I really don't want to have to do that, but I gotta get to it. Well, we'll have a good look at this once it's out, but it's not gonna happen today. Just taking small steps. Hey guys, do you remember a while back I posted this video? Yeah, that's my torque converter. That's at least that's what everybody agrees on. Uh, Definitely ain't supposed to sound like that. So I've taken it upon myself to replace it rather than have a shop do it because I cannot afford that. So a couple weeks ago, I spent money, probably more than I should have, on the best torque converter I could find for the 42 RLE transmission that came in the 2006 TJs. And mine has the 4.0 straight six. Yeah, I turned to ATS Diesel and their True Lock torque converters, and UPS man delivered. I spent a lot of money on this, but I think this will do me some good. As much as I would love to put a LS and a 6L80E transmission in my TJ, I just ain't got that money. I'd also love to do a 1-ton swap and coilovers, but maybe one day, but not immediately. And I have a philosophy: if anything goes bad on the TJ, I try to replace it with something much better. And as far as the torque converter goes, this is as good as it's going to get. I need to hurry up and get on this because I got 30 days to send them the core. Otherwise, I lose the $400. Well, I've already lost it. I just won't get it back. Yeah, this ran me about $568. With what I do, crawling in your worry. I wanted something strong. I don't want to have to do this again. And supposedly the 42 RLE I got in my TJ is built some company in Raleigh. I forget the company. I'll see if I can mention it in the description if I can remember. But supposedly it's built. I don't know to what extent, but regardless, this is the best torque converter out there for this transmission. So this is definitely called for, I'd say. I've already gotten I've already got plans I laid out. I've been doing my homework. But this is going to be a learning experience for me. I've never done anything like this, and I'll try and do what I can to share the experience with y'all. But I'm gonna have to give it lots of focus, so I won't be able to record everything. The first thing I'll be dropping the skid plate and removing the drive shafts, of course. But with my two jobs, it'll be a little bit here, a little bit there. I'm gonna rent a transmission jack from Sunbelt Rentals, and I'll see if I can get a buddy over here to help. I don't think I should be doing that by myself. That seems a little unsafe, especially when you're inexperienced like me. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna see where this goes, and if anybody else is in a similar situation, hopefully this will help. So anyway, let's see what happens. Alright guys, how's it going? Coming to you from underneath my Jeep. So what have I done? Well, drive shafts are right over there. Skid plate off, obviously. I've disconnected a few things. I'm just about to disconnect a few more. Oh, starter off as well. There it is. I was afraid for a minute I was going to have to remove this portion of exhaust between the exhaust manifold and the muffler because of, here, let me get you over that. Yeah, I was afraid that was going to be an issue, but what I'm going to do with that, I'm going to get when the time comes to actually drop this, I'm going to get everything supported, back of the engine supported, front and supported, transfer case supported, everything supported. And we are gonna, and when we disconnect the bracket and this cross member and everything, that should just slide right off. And the exhaust will support itself, of course. This little section ain't gonna be an issue. Will be pretty tight quarters, but that shouldn't be an issue. So anyway, yeah, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start disconnecting everything. I got these two hard lines. This mechanism for the gear shift and everything, I am not going to mess with that. Also got to work out how to disconnect the transfer case. I'm going to refer back to this video. Also, I'm going to take some pictures, just see how it's all laid out before I actually start disconnecting, so it'll be easier to reconnect when the time comes. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm really hoping I don't have any issues disconnecting all these plugs and everything. I really don't want these to break. Well, I could remove the whole sensor right there, but I'd rather not. Regardless, we'll update as I go. Okay, looking at how to disconnect the transfer case. Alright, I'm looking at, got this bracket right there. Right there, these two pieces. There's two bolts holding those in, holding in that whole bracket. It looks like it should just pop right off of the end of that bar. Once you disconnect those two, just disconnect it there. That's the theory. Also, right here, it looks like I could just put a screwdriver in between those two pieces and just pop it out. I would rather do that than unbolt it, but if I need to, I could unbolt it. Not the most secure, I mean, I'm not sure what to think of this. Not the most secure looking, but it's not failed me yet. Alright. Okay guys, update. Trying right now to get to the cover right here at the base of the transmission. Yeah, you can kind of see it right there. Yeah, that's this that's a cover right there. That one bolt is the only thing holding it in, but I think that bolt might be stripped. I've hit it with some PV blaster. Gonna make an attempt at that in a minute. Only issue is I can't really get anything more than an open-end wrench on it because of that O2 sensor. So I got a rental kit from AutoZone. About to bust that off. I hope I don't have any issues. Please. But yeah, other than that, I got the skid plate for the engine oil pan off. Now, I'm pretty sure that's aftermarket. So yeah, you won't have to deal with that. I'll tell you, with that thing, there were 4 bolts holding it in. 2 of them were the other bolts holding in that cover. But one of them was like a star bit bolt, and the other 3 bolts were all different size heads. So I'm gonna go to Ace Hardware and find all 4 standard bolts. The only other thing I'm having trouble with is the transfer case linkage. Look at all that. 2 bolts right there. I'm gonna have to remove for this that bracket right there. But everything back here, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, because you see that nut right there. Yeah, that's solid. Try and turn that, you'll be turning things in the transfer case. Other than that, you just gotta pull that through or pull that through, and I'm not sure if I can do that. I looked up some other videos on how to disconnect all this stuff, and I didn't find anything. The NP231 is a very common transfer case. It's been used on Cherokees and XJs and probably more. XJs, TJs, for probably more than 10 years. But there's a lot of different linkage setups. So I'm just going to have to figure this out. Getting a little frustrated with it, honestly. Well, if I figure it out, I'll let you know how, and hopefully this will help you. Anyway, back to work. Alright guys, it's the next day. I managed to get the transfer case linkage all disconnected. I'll show you in a minute. Part of it was it'll be easier when I show you, but part of it involved these nuts. I was thinking I was removing some bolts holding the transfer case and the transmission together. Nope, I was just removing these nuts. I think I showed y'all the linkage already, but I'll show you again what I've done. Okay. All right. Oops. Let me get my bearings here. Spin me right round. Okay. Got the linkage all bundled up in there. Okay, this bracket was right there and right there, and I took those nuts I just showed you right off of there. Transmission, transfer case. Now the sucky part was okay, right there. Getting that to pop through right there. That sucked. Tried multiple things to get that to work. I'll just stay there. Just stay right there. Stay right there. Oh crap, I don't want that to come off. Yeah, just a bunch of bull crap, that's all that is. Yeah, damn it. Stay put. Okay, that was that. That thing I had to do, I found out. The last nut right here, or the last bolt right there, was a little locked up. Not too bad. A little PP blaster before I got serious with it, and I ended up having to remove the O2 sensor, which I found out, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to remove all this anyway. So yeah, that would have had to be done anyway. I just removed it to get a little better access to that nut. Why do I have to remove this? Hold on, let me get wider right here. Okay, why do I got to remove this section of exhaust between the exhaust manifold and the muffler? Well, this is why. Can you see up in there? Yeah, probably not. Okay. There's an electric plug. I don't know what it is on this side, just like there was on the other side. There's some kind of sensor right there, I believe, and there's a hose right there. I cannot get to those at all with this here, so it's just I have to remove it. Let's see. So just two nuts there, and well, two nuts and bolts, and up there, you might be able to see it. There are two more nuts and bolts. Oh man, this is gonna suck. I hope those don't strip. They're probably rust welded. I did not want to do this, but I'm gonna have to. Yeah, there should be a fixed nut on the back of on the exhaust manifold side. So all I should need is a very long extension and some leverage. Hopefully this goes okay. I really don't want to do this, but I got to. Okay, so remove the stuff on the other side, and then it's just a matter of disconnecting the flywheel from the torque converter in there, supporting all this crap, then removing the cross member. Oh boy, okay. Crunch time, let's go. Okay guys, long story short, I disconnected, I removed the bolts from where the muffler meets the cat, and then I turned my attention to the bolts for the oh, yellow upside down, I just realized. Yeah, I turned my attention to where the cat meets the exhaust manifold, and then I promptly gave up. I took one look at those rusty bolts and I said, nope, I'm not dealing with that. So my hands are not that big, and neither are my wrists. So I decided to do some surgery to get to the final connections. I managed to get that plug, that electrical connection removed. I can't show you the actual thing, so I'll just show you it's look-alike over here. Pull out that plastic tab, push down on that, and you just pull. Then I got this little sensor right here I gotta get to, and some kind of hose. We'll update. Alright guys, to put it simply, I'm a little dumb. What I thought was a sensor going into the passenger side of the transmission, just ahead of that electrical connection. That's actually the filler dipstick tube. There's a small little bolt right next to it that's securing it in. Kind of easy. It's a little tedious to get to, especially if you don't remove the exhaust like I did. Uses a 10 millimeter. It's a 10 millimeter head. Oh, and information for later on. The hard lines are 24 millimeter. There was something else. It'll come to me. The hard lines for the transmission on the left side, those were 24 millimeter. And I just totally lost my train of thought. Okay, anyway, so yeah, what I thought was a sensor turned out to be the filler tube. And after talking with some people and checking one other video on YouTube, don't just watch my video for this. Find multiple sources, whatever you need. The best way to go about that tube is to remove that small nut right next to it where it goes into the transmission, and let it slip out as you drop it. You know, you're gonna have to be very careful. I don't know how easy it'll slide right out. I hope really easily, but I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it. The thing is, there's a bracket in the middle of that tube supporting it, and the nut connecting it is on the very back of the engine at the top of the transmission, right up against the tube, the tub. Just, I could barely get my hand to it. The idea of getting a wrench on it without dropping the whole thing. I'd rather not. But yeah, looks like the best way will just be let the tube slip out while you drop the transmission. There's also a filler hose right next to it, and they might be connected by a zip tie or something. Mine had some kind of plastic connector connecting the breather hose to the filler tube. I just broke it by hand, old dry plastic. So now at this point, I'll be removing the bolts for the transfer case from the flywheel. That should be easy. I just put a 19mm wrench on the crankshaft pulley and just turn it by hand, real easy. Looks like I got some weather coming in. I want to knock this out. At that point, the only thing that's going to be a little tricky is, I think I mentioned earlier, there is one of the supports for the exhaust, one of the hooks, is connected to the bracket in between the cross member and the transmission. So I'm going to have to support the transmission and the transfer case somehow. Remove everything, and somehow get that bracket to slip right off of that hook for the exhaust. If you can visualize that, you'll see what I mean here in a minute. The breeze feels good. Okay, final stretch. Let's go. Hey guys, check this out. Let's see if I can get you a good angle. And the one over there is also loose. Y'all, I'm gonna be disappointed if the whole issue was just simply these bolts loosening up on me. So anyway, yeah, we'll update. Y'all, you can see it, can't you? That's gotta be it. My question is, why did they loosen up? Only one was anywhere close to being what I'd call tight. I'm just gonna put you right here. Okay, the video cut out at some point, but you can see it. It is... oh man. Come on. Dug out the side right there. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure this out. Figure out why this happened. But it looks like I'm gonna have to replace the flywheel. Oh no. Oh boy. Well, there's only one thing left to do now, and that's get it on the ground. Alright, we'll update. Okay, it's late. That's what it is. All that's left to do is to remove the cross member and whatever brackets are supporting the transmission. Remove 4 bolts around the bell housing and slowly lower it. This is it's kind of exciting, but it's also nerve-wracking. The jack stand, the transmission jack that I'm using, I got from Sunbelt Rentals. I got it on Friday. The original plan was going to be to drop the transmission on Sunday. That didn't work out, so it was going to be dropping it today, and that didn't work out either. we're going to take it slowly tomorrow, but we should have it on the ground tomorrow. We better, because I can't keep paying for days renting that thing. Pretty sure I got like 80 bucks or something right now in rental fees. So, the one issue though that we kind of realized is that we're not sure. I mean, I have 35-inch tires, a 4-inch lift kit with a 1-inch body lift. We're not sure that there'll be enough space to get the transmission out from under the Jeep. I'm gonna find some measurements, do some calculations, or maybe we'll just drop it and see what happens. But look how big this thing is. It's pretty big. I can maybe imagine the transmission being about up to here, maybe. Kind of hard to see, I get it, but I don't know. The thought occurred, we stack some stuff and try and jack it up as best we can. Jack up one side and slip it out one side. See, this is why we take it slowly. And tomorrow we're going to take it slowly, very careful. We're dropping the transfer case and the transmission as one piece. In theory, to keep it simple. I'm not sure if that's going to be so simple. So, that's it for tonight. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Well, y'all, it's 7:15 and there's a snag. Namely, it is the top two bolts on the top of the bell housing. They are in a horrible place to get to. So, alright, it's 7:15 and I'm on my way to the store, the auto parts store. Not Napa, Advance and AutoZone. To get me a set of E-bolts, or E-sockets. Basically, the top two bolts on top of the bell housing, for no reason whatsoever, are E-bolts. Why? I don't get that. I mean, these are like the only two bolts of their kind on the whole vehicle, and they're in one of the most difficult places to get to. One, I think I can get to it by hand. I just have to reach and move by feel. The one on the passenger side on the top of the bell housing, I'm just going to have to use a lot of extensions to get to it. I think I am actually going to end up taking the transfer case off, because I mean, just to get it out of the way and have more room to work with. This is more than I bargained for, but we're going to get this taken care of. Well, guys, it's just short of midnight. Hold on. There you have it. Whew. That was something. Haven't tried doing anything else. Just my dad helped me. We got it on the ground. Everything is good. Got a jack stand supporting the engine. Got all its entrails just hanging out. Yeah, sorry, couldn't do any footage while we were doing it. Just had to focus on the job. A lot of it, I mean, it comes down to a lot of that stuff that you just do what works. What I can give you, Yeah, there are four bolts holding in the. There are four bolts in the bell housing. Two of them are on the very top, and for no reason at all, they are external E-sockets, specifically E12. So yeah, I had to go get an E12 socket at Advanced Auto Parts, and the left one, if you have an elbow for your sockets, if you have an elbow for your socket wrench and a long extension, you can get that one relatively easy. From the left side, from the driver's side underneath. If the exhaust was out of the way, getting to the other one might be a little easier. But the passenger side one upper external socket, that is the worst one. I basically had to assemble 3 feet worth of extensions. If you remove the transfer case off the back of the transmission first, you don't have to have it as long. But basically, yeah, you got to start at the very back and just have a long extension going right up to that bolt, and that was a pain. Horrible pain. Got those loose. Let me show you. Just easier if I show you. Yeah, that's everything right there. Starter, drive shafts. This is the bracket that was between the transmission and the cross member. That's where the exhaust poked through. Okay, here's the cross member. Multiple pieces. There were some spacers. There's a couple more pieces. There's another couple bars somewhere else that went along the top of that. That's the skid plate itself. This thing's been ate up with rust. A lot of it's rusted together. I'm probably gonna scrap this and get a new skid plate altogether, because it's a great skid plate. I mean, it is pretty dang thick. But it's badly eaten up with rust, and it's a bit of a hassle. I know there's a lot of newer options that are like one solid piece, other than having to run some spacers. Yeah, I'm just thinking I'm going to replace this and be done with it. What else can I tell you? Oh yeah, the bolt on the upper side of the bell housing on the passenger side, the one that you need all the extensions to get to, that one, I'm so tired right now, bear with me here. Yeah, that one was also securing the transmission dipstick tube. Once you remove the bolts at the base of the dipstick tube, and you remove that bolt, the dipstick tube it's free to move. You can basically just lift it straight out of the transmission, or just kind of work it out once you start to lower the transmission. If I had to do this again, oh god, if I touch my engine or transmission from this point on, it's either coming out all together, for the engine, the transfer case, everything in between, or I'm putting in an LS with a 6L80E one day. If I had to do it all again, I'd say take the transfer case off that will make it a lot easier when using the jack. Yeah, that's about it. Take the transfer case off. It's got some weight to it, but yeah, just if you have a floor jack, just get the floor jack up underneath it, and you should be fine. Also, one thing to consider, like the jack I got from Sunbelt Rentals had a load out of 2,000 pounds, so it's like for big truck transmissions. It's also built big. With the while it held the transmission fully lowered, the bell housing was too high to get underneath the frame, and I got 4-inch suspension lift, 1-inch body lift, and 35-inch tires. So basically, we just kind of had to work it off the platform of the jack and just lay it on the concrete and slide it out underneath. I am gonna go ahead and end the video here. If you have any questions, any specific questions, just leave them in the comments. And don't let my video be the only source of information on this. There are other videos out there. Do give them a look. Whatever you need to do to get your job done. That's what I say. Man, that's all I got right now. This weekend I'm going to a family reunion in the mountains. Gonna have a little vacation, a little break from this, and I'll add some videos as I go with this project. And yeah, once I have a little break, I will be turning my attention to actually getting the torque converter off. And shoot, I might just take it off. I might just take it off tomorrow after I get home from work. Should be pretty simple and straightforward, right? Anyway, y'all have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow.